Hello, everybody. Welcome to the series of webinars for the teachers of primary school. It's the internal book here from Kiev. Can you hear me? Could you please type in your chat box if you can hear me? So, hello, Natalia. Hello, Lena. I guess you can hear me. Okay, good. So I guess we can slowly start. Hello, everybody. Thank you for finding time to be here with us today. So we continue our series of webinars called 30 Minutes with the Internal Book. My name is Olena Mihodui, and I'm a methodologist at the Internal Book. I'm really happy to be here with you today. Hello, thank you for joining. Could you please write me the regions where you come from? I see Zaporizhia is with us today. Hello, Cherkasy. Hi to Kharkiv. Odessa and Ostrog. Okay, so almost, yeah, Lugansk. Chernivtsi. Hello, everybody. Hi to Lviv. Poltava. Hello. Okay, so people might be joining. I guess I will start. So once again, a short reminder, we continue our series of webinars for teachers of primary school. Some of you have probably watched the webinar done by my colleague Svetlana Sorochenska on phonics, how to use phonics in primary school. So today we continue speaking about how to teach students English in primary school, and today's topic is, just a second, how to use stories with your primary school students. Hello, everybody. So that's the topic, the value of stories and role plays in primary school. I'm sure if you're here with me today and watching this webinar, it means that you probably either teach now in primary school, or you used to do that, or you are planning to teach in primary school. So I hope you'll find the information useful and practical. And speaking about primary school, which is classes 1 to 4, you would probably agree with me that class 1, so the students of the first class, is a bit different, right? Because students can't read yet, most probably, right? So they can't write yet, which makes our job as teachers a bit more difficult, right? So we need to teach them a lot. The resources are limited, so we need to teach them lots of words, and we need to teach them some grammar structures, but at the same time they can only listen to us, they can repeat what we say, but they can't read, they can't write. So how to cope with that? Okay, some of you have problems with hearing me, right? So can you hear me well once again? Okay, so yes, good. Well, this is a webinar, right? So I can't see you, I can't see your faces, but I would like to involve you somehow, right? So during the whole session, I will ask for your participation. So I'll have some questions and I'll expect some answers, right? So my question number 1 for you today is, why do we use stories with our primary school kids? So, and thinking about the first class, right, to play, well, true, it's fun, it's interesting, thank you very much. Any other reasons? To get them interested, motivation is extremely important, thank you. And it's all about motivation in the first class, right? Fun, okay. Imagination is incredible, right? Okay, motivation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so I have my answers. Actually, you answered probably the question. So you've got the answer which I have on my slide now. So kids love stories, it's true. They love stories in their language one, so Ukrainian or Russian. So from day one, when they are born, they love listening to their mother's voice, right? They love bedtime stories. They love just looking through the pictures in the books. And I guess we need, as teachers, we need to use this love, right, of stories in our English classroom. Secondly, being teachers, we would probably agree altogether that stories are unique for presenting or consolidating new material, right? So whenever we want to present some target language, be it vocabulary or grammar, or to practice what was learned, we can use stories easily. Kids will love that without realizing that actually we're teaching them something. So it's quite easy and it works. And finally, and this is also very important, stories are extremely important for oracy development. Oracy is a term which is not often used in methodology, but it's a very good term because it refers to two language skills which are of primary vital importance in first class, and they are listening and speaking. Well, we remember that in the first class most kids can't write, they can't read yet, so which is literacy, right? So our teaching is based mostly on the other two skills, speaking and listening, which is oracy. That's why, once again, reason number 3, which I put here on my slide, why we use stories, is to better develop those two skills, listening and speaking, right? Okay, so now we know why we use stories. Kids love them. They're great for teaching language. They're great for like oracy development. And now the main question comes, how do we use them? How do we make the most of using stories in the classroom? Today I will try to make my session as practical as possible. I'm going to illustrate whatever I say. I'm going to present some activities which I tried with my students and they worked, so hopefully you'll find them useful again. And since we are speaking about stories, right, I will ask you from time to time to put yourselves in your student shoes and to pretend you are my little students. You are 6-year-old, right? So we're going to speak about stories, how to use stories. So let's start with a story. Okay, so now pretend you're little boys and girls, and I'll show you some strange footprints. Imagine we go for a walk in the forest and we see some really strange footprints. Can you guess what animal could leave these strange footprints? Is it a cat or a dog? A wolf, probably, or a dog, could be, or a cat in the forest, some wild kind of cat. Okay, a dragon. Okay, I'll try to help you a bit. This is the animal. It's green. It's got a tail. It's not a fox. Well, yeah, it's a dragon. Actually, yeah, it's a dragon. Thank you very much. So his name is Waldo. It's Waldo the dragon. He's going to be our main character today. Actually, Waldo is going to help me during my session to illustrate some activities. So Waldo is a happy little dragon who was born on some tropical island. Actually, he is happy. He has some friends, really nice kids, Oscar, Millie, Rita, and Zach. His very best friend is a baby boy called Vava. So they're quite happy. They're friends. They have lots of adventures together. The only thing actually which makes Waldo unhappy is that he can't find his mother. So the rest is fine. So his life is fun and full of adventures. Actually, Waldo and his friends, they live in a story which is contained into our new Pearson title for primary school called Islands. Some of you probably have also already heard about this book. Some of you might already be using this book. Well, in Islands, every unit of the book contains a story page, which is a proper lesson. In Islands, the story is used not to present, but to consolidate the target language of the unit, so it comes closer to the end of the unit. And each of the 8 units of the book contains such a story page. So this is the page of the book. If you're now using some other resources, so your books might have pages, similar pages, right? So usually it's some ongoing story, some comic story. Kids actually love following their favorite characters' adventures through the story. So even if you don't know what unit it was, just having a look at these speech bubbles, can you look and tell me which language was presented in the unit? Just have a look at the story. I remind you again that in Islands it consolidates the language of the unit. So family, jobs. Okay, right. Thank you very much. Actually, it's quite a short story, but there is a lot of language in it, right? So if we look back into the unit, the first spread in Islands, the spread which starts the unit is also a vocabulary spread. So here it's a big block of vocabulary on family and some grammar structure needed for making some simple sentences like this is my brother, he is 9, and so on. So then there is always a short chant which combines the words from this spread and the grammar structure presented. The following spread is always the second vocabulary block, and in this unit you were absolutely right. It was jobs and a song, again, to consolidate everything: family words, jobs, and the grammar learned. And then finally comes the story page, which combines everything which was taught, like vocabulary and grammar. And the task here is the classical task. So you probably came across such tasks in your books as well. So listen to the story and act out, right? So, and we remember that kids don't read yet, they don't write yet, so that's actually what they see, right? So they see bright pictures, they're ready for some nice listening, they need good audio stuff, but that's what they see, they don't read yet, right? So how do we go about a page like that? So with any listening task, there must be probably something what we call the pre-listening stage, right? So when we let the kids just have a nice look at the page, there is a chance to recall the characters' names, to just let them so elicit from your students what they already know, the age of the characters, right? There's some colors which they know, and so something to make a positive start, so something they know about the characters, right? Then comes the first listening, so just general understanding, right? So listen to the story, then a short discussion about what they heard, and of course we do it in Ukrainian or Russian in language 1 with your 6-year-olds, right? After that, of course, well, you know what to do next, so there comes listening number 2, second listening, and we remember as teachers that the task here is, the ultimate aim is to prepare our students for producing this story, right, for acting out the story. It means they, without being able to read the text, we need to make sure they memorize the lines of the story, right? So it means there must be some learning the lines stage, right? So to prepare them for reciting. And then finally, if, well, we do the learning the lines stage well, kids are ready for role playing, they're ready for acting out, and here come the masks, right? If you have the masks of the main characters, or you can use some finger puppets, or, well, they can just, you can assign the roles and they can pretend somebody is Waldo and so on. So then the final stage is acting out. So such a page, if you have a story, well, like in Islands, it always works well, so it's fun. Audio usually helps, right? So the characters are funny and so on. So it's a very good page to consolidate the language which was taught in the unit. But what if we do it differently? What if we don't open the books? Okay, so let's imagine, so the books are there on the desks. You're my little students again, but we don't open the books. So I'm going to show you some pictures right now. So, and what I want you to do, I will ask you some questions, and again, if you were my real students, right, I would ask the questions in Ukrainian, but you're my very smart students, so right, so I'll continue in English. So have a look at the pictures and answer my questions. So I'll expect some answers in the chat box. So have a look at this picture. So you recognize the characters, right? You remember their names. Where do you think the children are? Can you try to guess? Are they at home? Are they at school? At the party? Probably, right? They've got some cakes or a cafe. Okay, party, right? Treehouse, yeah, so thank you very much. Actually, they are in the treehouse. Fine. Now have a look at this picture. Do you remember his name? Who's this? Do you remember this character's name? Waldo, thank you very much. So Waldo, is Waldo a dinosaur? Is he a dog? What is Waldo? A dragon, yeah, thank you very much. Okay, now they've got some cakes. How many cakes have children got? Can you count the cakes? 8, perfect, smart kids. Okay, now have a look at Waldo. What do you think he's going to do? Just have a look at his eyes. What's going to happen? To steal cakes or to eat cakes? Probably. Okay. And now have a look at this picture. The kids have heard something, right? So what do you think they have heard? Any ideas? Somebody took the cake? Some strange noise? Okay, something broke. Fine, so thank you very much for your ideas, lots of guesses. So what I suggest now, let's listen to the story and find out, okay? So I'll just let you listen to the story and we will soon learn what happened.
Pupils Book, page 14. Activity 9. Listen to the story. Then, act out.
Look! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cakes. 2 green cakes for Oscar.
Hooray!
2 purple cakes for Millie. 2 orange cakes for Zach. And 2 pink cakes for me. What?
Oh!
The cakes! Waldo!
Nice cakes. Oh, thank you.
Okay, so this was our story. So Waldo did eat the cakes, right? He loves cakes. And actually, kids love stories like that. So the audio is fun. They love, you know, all these noises and Waldo's voice, and they want to imitate it later when it comes to role play and so on. So Waldo is extremely happy. I'm not so sure about the kids, but well, this is our story, right? Quite funny. So what, okay, so we listened to the story. I intrigued you a bit, right? So we were trying to guess what the last episode was about. What I also love doing after, you know, intriguing my student this way, wanting them to guess how the story is going to finish, after letting them to listen to the story for the first time. So what I do next usually is a very simple number dictation. So there are lots of versions of number dictations. They're easy to organize and to carry out. So kids don't write, they don't read, but they probably know the numbers. So what if I mix the episodes, so you see that now they're in a different order, right? And the task is very simple. Listen to the story again and write down the numbers in the correct order, right? So easy to make them listen to the story again, easy to keep them busy. But here comes the question, how did I do that? If you remember, we did not open the books. Do you remember that? So we started just with some pictures, and I asked you some questions, and then I mixed the pictures, you know, just how did I do that? Some magic. Actually, what is great about islands, and well, the teachers who work with this course are lucky teachers, I would say, because together with the book comes a wonderful teacher's resource box which contains everything you need for the lesson, even more than that. So it contains all the flashcards you need, like all the target vocab is on the flashcards. Then there is a separate set of word cards. So when the time comes, you know, for students to start reading, you have separate word cards. Then, since Islands is very serious, so about teaching phonics, and there is always a phonics lesson in the book, there is a separate set of phonics cards. But on top of that, there is something I've never seen before with, like in any other resource. There are the so-called story cards. Story cards is something unbelievable. So they are big cards, like A4 format, and well, each story, which in every unit there are 6 episodes for every story, so there are 6 story cards for every story. And well, if you look, so one side of the card is the picture, so you can focus the student's attention on just one episode. It's just a different kind of work, it's a different kind of focus. When they don't look into the books, they look at this particular episode. But the back of the card is a mini teacher's book, actually, because it contains all the notes you need. So you show them the picture, but here you have the notes, what you say, what you ask, what you do, just to let you see that. So there are the before listening questions. Actually, the questions which I asked you before I let you listen to the story are from here, from the back of the card. Then there is a script of this particular episode, and even the after listening questions. So it's absolutely amazing. Well, having a tool like this, so there are so many different kinds of activities which you can do with such a set of story cards. So if you remember, we can start a story lesson without opening the books, right? So just having cards like that, I've done the pre-listening stage using the pre-listening questions here for every episode, right? Then I let you to listen to the story for the first time to check our guess. So I did not show you the 6 episodes, so I wanted you to hear and hear yourselves what happens. Then I can easily rearrange the cards on the board or on the desk and let my students to hear the story for the second time. and put the cards in the correct order, to write the numbers in the correct order. Then comes the post-listening stage. And again, you can use the cards just because the post-listening questions are here, or at the post-listening stage, you can ask your students to open the books at last, to have a look at the page, and ask them the post-listening stages while they're looking at the page in their books. What comes next, actually? If you remember, the task here is listen to the story. So we've done that. We've actually listened to the story twice. So we worked with the story cards. We looked into the page of the book. And the task here is act out a story, right? So are we ready for acting out yet? Any ideas? What do you think? Would your students be ready? Probably not. Okay, so we've discussed the pictures, we've answered some questions, we've heard the story twice, but we're not ready for production yet. So here comes the stage which we called here the reproduction stage. It's an extremely important stage for kids who can't read yet, right? So they can only rely on what they hear. And the more times they repeat the phrases after you in different ways, not to get them bored, so the better they are ready to later recite the story and to play the story. So I'm going to show you some activities which I tried with my students at this reproduction stage. You can use different interaction patterns. So sometimes you can try the reproduction stage open class when all students are involved. One of the easiest things to set up in class is an activity which is called thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, it's one of the so-called TPR activities when you make your students move, right? So even if they move their finger, it's a kind of movement, so the more TPR activities you use in class, the better. So I'll try to demonstrate how it works. So you can ask your students to look back into the page, right? So, and, well, you remember they don't read yet, so that's what they see. They see pictures, actually. And you actually read the lines of the story one by one, like episode by episode, but sometimes you make deliberate mistakes. It's a kind of true-false task, right? So if you read the line correctly, so they show you that everything's fine. If not, so it goes down. For example, if we look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 cakes. And, well, it's not true, so there are 8 cakes, right? So thumbs go down. Or like here, 2 green cakes for Oscar, hooray! And yeah, so, well, it was true, so they heard it twice in the story, so thumbs go up. And here, 3 purple cakes for Millie. And again, so it's not true, so they can just, it's a kind of receptive practice, so when they react, whether you're saying like truth or not. Again, with such a nice set of story cards, like in Islands, you could try some simple class reciting again. So a teacher works with story cards. So you just show them one by one in the correct order, if you like, and the class recites after you. Or you can show the cards in a jumbled order, and again your students repeat the lines after you. It's easy, it's a different kind of, again, focus when they look not into the books but when they look at the cards, and repeat all together after you, after the teacher. If you want to add more student talking time, you could try some pair work reproduction activities. So with Islands, such a story page in the book can be easily turned into a board game. So since there are always 6 episodes in any story, so what if we take a die, right, and we put our students into pairs, and each pair just they throw a die, and depending on which, you know, the number of dots they have on the side of the die, so they recite the lines from memory of that particular episode, like here, right, or number 1, so they recite the lines from here. It's easy, it's a different kind of interaction, and it's, again, we remember that we're preparing our students for reproducing the story, right? So we need to make sure they learn the lines of the story which contain the language, right, which we want them to remember. One more idea, so we had a look at how to organize some open class reproduction, right? So pair work or group work. In islands, a teacher also has apart from wonderful story cards, so there are photocopyable mini story cards. So what if we, let's say, set up an activity which I call the story circle, because, well, let's imagine we cut these mini story cards out, right? So we put our students into groups of 6. So each group of students has a set of story cards. So they put them face down, then they take the cards, and actually they start reciting the story, right? So every student contributes with his own phrase. So one by one in the correct order, and again, it's easy to set up. Then they put the cards back face down. They take one card again, so most probably it will be a different card this time, and they have to say a different line of the story this time, so making up the correct story again. So summing up, the reproduction stage is extremely important, because what comes next is the role playing. So the more times you let your students repeat the phrases of the story, the better they are prepared for further role playing. And of course, the production, the acting out stage is extremely important. So let's try to be more serious about that, right? Because for students, it's important. So what if we turn our classroom into a stage, right? Into a theater stage. So we choose the main characters. We can assign the roles, right? So the happiest student will be a student who's going to play Waldo, right? Everybody wants to be Waldo and to imitate his voice. Then, like in real theater, we need to think of some props. So there were cakes in the story. What if we ask students to draw cakes, right? So 8 cakes, they draw them, they cut them out. So just paper cakes, they color them like the colors which were mentioned in the story. Then there was some plate, so we need to think of some plate. There was something which fell down and made that noise, so we could think of them, can be somebody's bag which falls down and makes that noise. Then you remember Waldo was watching the kids through some window or something, so we need to rearrange stuff in the classroom to make it look like a real play, right? So because kids put so much effort into that, so we need to let them experience the role playing to the most. Fine. So once again, if there is a story page in the book you are using in your classroom, you can always start with the story of the book, right? With the story page in that book. If you work with a course book like Islands with such nice story cards, so you can easily start the lesson based on the story with story cards, with books closed, lots of activities, even if you start with story cards, and then later we open the book and proceed with the lesson. Or what if we do it still differently? What if we don't open the books, we don't look at the story cards, what if we listen to the story first? So what I want you to do right now, I will let you listen to another story about Waldo and his friends, and my question to you is very simple. Listen to the story and tell me, please, where are the kids and Waldo? So there are 3 options here to make it easier for you. They are in the treehouse, maybe, or at school, or maybe they are at home. Okay, so let's listen to the story.
Pupils Book, page 24, Activity 9. Listen to the story. Then, act out.
What's this?
Okay, boys and girls, what's this?
It's a violin.
Good. What's this? Zach?
It's a drum.
Very good. What's this?
It's a book.
Mom!
Okay, a bit unexpected, right? At the end, this word mom. So most of you wrote school. Some of you think that they are in the treehouse. Some of you write that they are at home. So now let's open the books and let's have a look at the page of the book. Actually, well, it's a funny episode again. So the kids are at school and Waldo is in Zach's backpack, and then suddenly a book falls out from the backpack and it opens, and Waldo, who's missing his mom, sees a picture of his dragon mother in the book, and he starts, you know, crying and saying this, "Mom, Mom," and he scares the teacher to death. Actually, well, they are at school. But, and again, so same nice story page. Again, being a teacher who works with islands, I remember I have a set of nice story cards. But with such a nice audio, you know, and as a basic general comprehension question, you can easily start a lesson on this story just with the audio itself. So it's perfect. Students are intrigued, they want to hear, and they want to answer your questions, so it's easy and fun, and it's just a different kind of interaction again. And one more activity from me again, which I tried with these wonderful story cards. I called it group reaction because, well, let's imagine we've just listened to this story, right? Then I divide my class into 6 groups. Each group gets a card, right? So each group is responsible for one episode of the story. Then I read the lines of the story in random order. Very simple. For example, okay, boys and girls, what's this? It's a violin, and the group which is responsible for this card, they react somehow. And again, it depends on the task you set. So clap hands when you hear your line, or stand up, or repeat the phrase when you hear your line. And you continue this way. Oh no, mom, mom. And again, so this group reacts. So nice TPR, so they move, they stand up, they repeat, they clap, and so on. And very easy to set up with such wonderful story cards like in Islands. So we've looked at 3 ways in which we can actually start a lesson which is based on a story. Right, with a book, with story cards if it's a resource like Islands, or with just the audio version of the story. So what if we finish the lesson, so we do the role play, everybody is happy, you can even let parents watch that role play, right? So we think better about that. What about some extension? Anything else which we can do with this page? So the page is used, so we've squeezed everything from the page, right? So we worked well, we listened to the story lots of times, we worked with story cards, we worked with photocopyable mini cards. What if we try, well, having those wonderful mini story cards, right? So why not revisit the story? So you remember this is the story at school, right? You remember the story about cakes. What if I put my students in pairs or in groups? And what if I mix the cards together and I set some time limits and ask my students to sort the stories out, right? So to make 2 correct stories. They can even open the book pages later to see if they remember the story as well. Really easy, and it's just another chance for students to recall the story and maybe to recite the story again. And one more thing which I absolutely love about Islands, so we teach actually more than just language, right? So each story page, here at the bottom there is the values box. So each story teaches them some lesson. So for example, it's good to share, right? So, and even some homework, like share with a friend, draw, show your family, or be clean, or be polite. So you would probably agree parents love that, and well, it's our job to be more than just teachers of English, right? Be tidy, and again, look at what nice home tasks they have. Clean your bedroom, show your family. So I think it's just really great. Take care of your pets, love your family, it's just wonderful. Tell your family that you love them. This is homework. Respect feelings, help others, and well, work hard at school. It's also important. So Islands is just a wonderful resource, like lots of vocabulary, lots of wonderful audio. So the audio is great not only in the story lessons, but every vocabulary spread has wonderful chants. Then there are great songs, and well, there are many more stories than in the story page. So the audio is just incredible. And you probably remember that Waldo had one problem. So he had friends, he had fun, but he was missing his mom. And just to finish on a positive note, so I want to reassure you that our story has a very happy ending. So in the very last unit, Waldo finally finds his mother, so there is a happy family reunion, so everything is fine, and our students finish Islands 1 and they are ready to go to the second class, to Islands 2, and there will be a new series of adventures with new characters in that level. So for those of you who are interested in the book itself, because I think it's just great for teachers who work with young learners, there are 4 levels. Which go with classes 1 to 4. If you want to know more about the books, about this book and other resources, you can go to our website, which is www.iltdinternal.com.ua. So you see the website here on the slide. And there is a section here which is called Ресурси для вчителів. So you'll find more information about the books and just lots of stuff there for your lessons to add more variety to your lessons. One more thing, there is a section called calendar. So you're welcome to follow just our events, lots of events happening in all regions of Ukraine, so you can find your region and see what we conduct in that region. So you're welcome to join any event we do in your city or town. So actually this year, you probably already heard about that. We are proud to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Pearson in Ukraine. So we'll have lots of guest speakers, wonderful, very qualified teacher trainers who are coming here to Ukraine to see you all. So they will have sessions in different cities of Ukraine. So again, you can check our calendar and see these are the dates when actually the author of Focus, our bestseller for upper secondary school, so Juan Jones is coming and some more great speakers. So make sure you register for those events as well. And well, today was the last section for teachers of primary school. Both webinars, the first one on phonics and today's one of using stories, they will be available on this site starting from April. So if you want to watch the webinars again or to let your colleagues watch them. So let them know that they will be available on our site starting from April. Thank you very much for your attention. We're always happy to see you all at our events. We are planning lots of trips soon, so there is a chance we'll come to your city or town. And we're also planning a new series of webinars for teachers of secondary school. So you'll get information about that on your email or on our website. Again, so probably in April and in May, so there will be more webinars coming for teachers who teach in secondary and upper secondary sector. Thank you very much again. So I'll stay here a bit longer if you have any questions. Certificates, sure. So you'll get your certificates in a couple of days. So check your email. You will receive them by email. Thank you very much. Okay, have a great evening, and I do hope to see you at our events someday. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today.